If you're listening, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with where you're tuning in from, because this story's got more twists than a roller coaster and cuts deeper than a knife you never saw coming. 4 months ago, my son told me to crawl away and die, that I was a relic no one needed. I packed my bags like the obedient mother I'd been for 40 years. 3 days later, I sat in a lawyer's office, learning my late husband had played a chess game so long it'd make Kasparov sweat. My son, Nathan, was about to discover that pawns can become queens. Let me take you from homeless widow to the woman holding every card in the deck. Buckle up, honey. This tale's got more curves than a pretzel factory. 3 months back, I was Eleanor Wright, 65, wife of 40 years to Thomas, who died of a heart attack at 70. Grief was a weight I carried alone, or so I thought. Then Nathan, my only child, swooped in like a vulture in Armani, murmuring, "Mom, this big house is too much for you now." His voice was all syrup, but I was too broken to see the greed behind it. Our Georgian manor on Willow Lane was a tapestry of memories. Thomas tinkering in the garage, me tending the rose garden, Nathan's boyhood laughter ringing through the halls. I thought he cared about his grieving mother. I should have sniffed out the betrayal brewing. Nathan was Thomas's golden boy, the kid who could charm his way out of anything. At 38, married to a corporate lawyer named Sophia, he ran a hedge fund and lived a life of private jets I barely grasped. They'd show up to family dinners with glossy brochures for senior living communities. "Mom, these places are amazing. Friends your age, no stress." Translation: no inheritance to split, no inconvenient mom to deal with. I nodded through tears, thinking maybe they were right. I was just a widow after all. The hammer fell on a gray Tuesday. 6 weeks after Thomas's death, I was still sleeping in the guest room, unable to face our bedroom. Nathan and Sophia arrived unannounced with 2 suitcases. "Mom, we've made a decision," Nathan said, his tone sharp as a blade. "Sophia's firm is opening a new office, and we need to move into town. This house is perfect for us." I stared, stunned. "Move in? This is my home." Nathan's mask slipped, revealing cold calculation. "Actually, Mom, per Dad's will, I inherited everything. House, investments, the lot. I've let you stay out of kindness, but it's time to go." The words hit like a physical blow. "Nathan, there's a mistake." "No mistake," he snapped. "Dad knew I'd manage his legacy better. You never got money or investments. You were just the wife." Just the wife. 40 years of love, sacrifice, and late-night worries reduced to 3 words. Then the killing blow. "Find somewhere to die, Mom. You're useless now." I packed my life into 2 suitcases and a box of photos in a day. Nathan watched from the doorway, checking his watch like I was delaying a board meeting. "Subscribe. This pawn's about to fight back. Hit subscribe and tell me where you're tuning in. This story's got more sting than a betrayal you never saw coming." I'm Eleanor Wright, and after my son Nathan called me useless and claimed my $30 million inheritance, I was cast out like yesterday's news. But something in me refused to break. My husband, Thomas, was too meticulous to leave me with nothing. This pawn was about to flip the board. Buckle up. This tale's twistier than a pretzel factory. I'd packed my life into 2 suitcases and a box of photos, Nathan watching like I was an inconvenience. "There's a senior complex on Maple Drive," he offered, like suggesting a diner. "Affordable. They'll have openings." Affordable. My son was inheriting $30 million, and he pointed me to a welfare home for the elderly. Sophia, his corporate lawyer wife, loaded my bags into their Range Rover with the efficiency of someone tossing out garbage. "Eleanor, you'll love your independence," she said, not meeting my eyes. Independence, meaning homelessness. The Moonlight Inn was $45 a night. Thin walls, thinner towels, and a carpet that hadn't been cleaned since Nixon. Nathan handed me $200, like tipping a maid. "This'll cover a few days till you settle," he said, already gone. I sat on the sagging mattress, replaying his words. Useless now. In 3 hours, I'd gone from grieving widow to discarded senior. The daughter-in-law I'd welcomed, the son I'd raised. They'd tossed me aside like an expired coupon. But something nagged at me. Thomas was obsessive about documents. He'd shown me his will years ago, walking me through every clause. I was certain it didn't say what Nathan claimed. Thomas could be stubborn, even patronizing about finances, but he wasn't cruel. The man who danced with me in the kitchen, who'd left me notes in my recipe books, wouldn't leave me destitute. Next morning, I used the motel's shaky Wi-Fi to track down Thomas's lawyer, Edward Granger, who'd handled our estate for decades. His office was a 20-minute bus ride, eating my last cash, but I needed truth. Edward, a distinguished 75-year-old with warm eyes behind bifocals, looked shocked when I arrived. "Eleanor, I called the house, but Nathan said you were traveling." "Traveling? That's how my son hid me." "Edward, what's in Thomas's will?" He frowned. "Didn't Nathan give you your copy?" "I gave him the original after the reading." My stomach dropped. "A reading? I wasn't there." "Nathan says he got everything." Edward's face darkened. He grabbed a file, his hands urgent. "Eleanor, that's impossible. Thomas's will is explicit." He pulled a notarized document, Thomas's precise signature at the bottom. "I, Thomas Richard Wright, bequeath to my beloved wife, Eleanor Marie Wright, our residence at 627 Willow Lane, all furnishings and 70% of all assets, approximately $21 million. My head spun. To my son, Nathan Thomas Wright, I leave $9 million in trust, payable at 40, contingent on his respectful treatment of his mother after my death. Contingent. Thomas knew Nathan's heart. "He told me I got nothing," I whispered. "He kicked me out with $200. Edward's jaw tightened. "That's elder abuse and fraud, Eleanor. Felonies. Subscribe. This queen's ready to strike. Smash that subscribe button and drop where you're listening. This story's got more edge than a blade." I'm Eleanor Wright, and my son Nathan's betrayal, claiming my $30 million inheritance with a forged will, had me exiled to a dingy motel. But Thomas's meticulous will haunted me. I knew he'd never leave me nothing. This pawn was about to turn queen. Buckle up. This tale's got more curves than a pretzel factory. In Edward Granger's office, my world shifted. He read Thomas's will. "I, Thomas Richard Wright, bequeath to my beloved wife, Eleanor Marie Wright, our residence at 627 Willow Lane, all furnishings, and 70% of all assets, approximately $21 million. My knees buckled. To my son, Nathan Thomas Wright, I leave $9 million in trust, payable at 40, contingent on his respectful treatment of his mother after my death. Contingent. Thomas knew Nathan's heart. "He told me I got nothing," I whispered. "He kicked me out with $200. Edward's jaw tightened. "That's elder abuse and fraud, Eleanor. Felonies. Nathan's documents? Forged. Thomas had updated his will 6 months before his death, wary of Nathan's greed. There's more, Edward said. If Nathan fails to treat you with dignity, his $9 million reverts to you. I stared, reeling. Nathan's betrayal had cost him everything. I wasn't getting $21 million. I was getting $30 million and my home. What now? I asked, voice shaky. Edward's smile was pure warmth. We call the police, freeze his accounts, and let Nathan learn what happens when you underestimate your mother. By noon, every account Nathan thought was his was locked. His credit cards? Useless. The Manor's utilities, now in his name, suspended. At 3:52 p.m., my phone buzzed. Nathan. Mom, what's going on? The accounts are frozen. His panic was almost sweet. I'm with Edward Granger, Nathan. You know, Dad's lawyer, the one you told I was traveling. Silence. Mom, you're confused. I was protecting you from all that money. Protecting me by telling me to die. Nathan, sweetheart, I said, ice in my voice. You forged Dad's will and threw me out. But Thomas was smarter than you. That $9 million? It's mine now, thanks to the clause about respecting me. His voice cracked. That's impossible. Talk to Detective Harper about impossible. She's here, ready to discuss your felonies. Nathan stammered, Mom, let's meet, sort this out. We'll meet at your arraignment. I hung up, Edward nodding like a proud general. By 8 p.m., police arrested Nathan at a rooftop bar, mid-martini with Sophia. He shouted about misunderstandings, but the forged will was damning. Sophia was nabbed the next morning. Her law firm's printer had produced the fakes. Turns out, she'd been investigated for ethics violations before. My son and his lawyer wife, undone by their own greed. Subscribe, this queen's about to claim her throne. Hit subscribe and share where you're tuning in. This story's got more fire than a dragon's breath. I'm Eleanor Wright, and after exposing my son Nathan's forged will, I'd reclaimed my $30 million and my home. But Nathan and his wife, Sophia, weren't done. They thought they could blackmail me with secrets about my late husband, Thomas. This pawn was now a queen, and I was ready to checkmate. Buckle up. This tale's twistier than a pretzel factory. I slept in my master bedroom, Nathan's suits bagged on the porch. The house wasn't Thomas's anymore. It was mine. I'd shaped it for his dreams, but now I was turning his study into a music room, his bar into a greenhouse. Channel 9 called at dawn. Mrs. Wright, your son's fraud case is huge. Will you share your story? I paused. Nathan, in a cell, thought charm could save him. Maybe the world needed to hear how a pawn became a queen. 3 days later, Sophia's father, Charles Benton, appeared at my door, all polished shoes and old money arrogance. Eleanor, let's be rational. Prosecuting Nathan is vindictive. Vindictive? My son stole my life. Charles, Nathan forged documents and threw me out. That's conspiracy. He waved it off. He followed Sophia's lead. A settlement could benefit us all. $3 million to drop Nathan's charges. $3 million to forgive a $30 million theft. Your son-in-law tried to ruin me, Charles. No deal. His facade cracked. Be realistic, Eleanor. Nathan has a career, kids, a reputation. He should have thought of that before committing felonies. Charles stood, smug. My lawyers found dirt on Thomas's business. It'd be a shame if it went public. A threat. I felt curiosity, not fear. What dirt? The kind that makes you question who the real criminal was. I called Edward Granger, my lawyer. Whatever they found, it doesn't change Nathan's crimes, he said. But I needed truth. That night, I scoured Thomas's study, my study now. His files were meticulous, but oddities emerged. Payments to shell companies, vague consulting fees. By 2 a.m., I found it, a ledger hinting at money laundering. Edward's private investigator, Lisa Tran, confirmed it. Thomas ran a front for the Marconi Syndicate, washing millions over 15 years. My heart sank. The man I'd loved, a criminal? There's more, Lisa said. The $9 million for Nathan, tainted. If the FBI finds this, everything's seized. Nathan and Sophia knew. They were planning to blackmail me. Options? I asked. Lisa was blunt. Go to the FBI voluntarily, maybe keep the house. Or they'll leak it and you lose it all, plus face charges for benefiting from crime. My phone rang. Nathan. Mom, we need to talk. Dad's business changes everything. I know about the laundering, Nathan. Silence. Then you know our deal. $4 million, the house, we walk, you're safe. They thought they had me, but they'd underestimated me again. Subscribe. This queen's about to turn the tables. Smash that subscribe button and tell me where you're listening. This story's got more power than a storm. I'm Eleanor Wright, and my son Nathan and his wife, Sophia, thought they could blackmail me with my late husband Thomas's secrets. But this pawn had become a queen, and I was ready to claim the board. Buckle up. This tale's got more curves than a pretzel factory. Nathan's blackmail attempt, $4 million, and my house to keep quiet about Thomas's money laundering had me cornered, or so he thought. I called Lisa Tran, my investigator. Get me the FBI. I've got a story they'll love. Agent Rachel Kim was all business, her notepad relentless. Mrs. Wright, coming forward risks admitting you benefited from crime. I'd rather tell the truth than let my son blackmail me. I spilled everything, Nathan's fraud, Sophia's forgeries, their extortion. Rachel smiled. Mrs. Wright, would you wear a wire? 3 hours later, I sat in my living room, a recorder taped to my chest. Nathan and Sophia arrived at 8 p.m., smug with a briefcase of agreements. Mom, we've structured this nicely, Nathan said. You keep the house, $4 million, immunity. We walk free. I leaned in. When did you find Dad's crimes? Sophia faltered. That's irrelevant. Is it? Agent Kim thinks it's conspiracy. Their faces drained. Rachel and 2 agents stormed in, cuffing them for fraud, elder abuse, and extortion. Nathan's last plea, Mom, you're in danger. Rachel snapped, That's witness intimidation, Mr. Wright. She sat me down after. Thomas was an FBI informant for 12 years, feeding us Marconi intel. The $30 million, legally yours, earned through his cooperation. My world tilted. Thomas, a hero? Why didn't I know? Ongoing investigation. Nathan's scheme proved your innocence. They'd tried to blackmail me with a truth that saved me. 6 months later, I stood in my renovated manor, brewing coffee for Lisa. Nathan and Sophia got 18 months each. My story hit the news, making me a voice for elder advocacy. The Eleanor Wright Foundation, funded with $15 million, fights family fraud. Netflix wants my story, a series, The Queen's Gambit. Nathan's letters pile up, unopened. Regrets? Lisa asked. None. Nathan showed who he was when he thought I was weak. Family protects, not exploits. In my music room, I play piano, notes echoing my strength. This Queen's board is clear, and I'm playing my own game now. Subscribe, share your story. This pawn's a queen, and I'm just getting started.